Hi, my name is Aditya Agarwal, and I recently finished my master's thesis in tourism marketing and management at University of Eastern Finland. My research is about something every destination marketing team deals with, but very few people actually test the sound on the short travel video. The question I set out to answer was whether the audio you choose for a short form video changes how viewers feel about a destination, whether it makes them more likely to want or to visit or to recommend it to others. Let me walk through what I did and, more importantly, what it means for the videos you make. Why this topic matters is the starting point was an earlier finished study by Maria Murto in 2024. It found something surprising. Adding sound to a tourism video did not, on its own, change how people reacted compared to silence. What made the difference was whether the sound fit the visuals when the audio matched. People remembered the content better and had more positive experience. When it clashed, they felt confused and little irritated. So the lesson was not use sound or don't use sound. It was that the fit between the sound and the picture is what matters. The study was done in a controlled lab settings and it didn't look at whether this affects real decisions like wanting to visit. My study picked up from there and tested the same idea in the kind of short video you'd actually scroll past on Instagram or TikTok. And it looks at whether the effect reaches all the way through the visit and recommendation intentions. Then the framework. To do this properly, I used a well-established model from psychology. It's called stimulus organism response model. It's a simple idea, something in the environment that stimulates, triggers an internal reaction inside a person. The organism and the reaction then shapes what they do, the response. In my case, the stimulus is how well the audio and visuals fit together. The internal reactions are emotion and the sense of being there, and the response is whether they want to visit the destination or recommend it. This same model has been used for decades to understand how stores and websites influence behavior, so it's natural fit for video too. So to apply the framework, the key point on this slide is this. The audio doesn't push people to act directly. It works through what happens inside them first. Good audio-visual fit creates an emotional and feeling of presence, and those feelings are what actually move people towards wanting to visit or recommend. So the sound is the trigger, but the feeling is the engine. Why I chose Finnish Lakeland? I chose the Finnish Lakeland as the destination for the study, and that choice was deliberate. The Lakeland is one of the Finland's official tourism regions, and its appeal is very sensory and atmospheric. Snow-covered forest, lakes, open spaces, a real sense of quiet. And a lot of what makes it special is hard to show with pictures alone. You almost have to hear it. That makes it the perfect place to test whether the sound can carry the atmosphere across to someone who has never been there. Then the research question comes. So here is the exact question stated simply. How does the fit between audio and visuals in a short destination video influence whether people want to visit and whether they want to recommend that destination? So what I set out to do, the study had 4 goals: to see how audio-visual fit affects emotions and sense of being there, to see how those feelings then shape the intention to visit and recommend, and to compare 4 different types of audios against each other, and finally, to turn all of that into practical guidance for people who actually make destination content. The last one is really why I'm making this video for you. Then comes the predictions. Before running the study, I made a set of predictions which I'll keep short, which is also basically the hypothesis. In plain terms, I expect that better audio-visual fit would lead to stronger emotions and stronger sense of presence, and that both of those feelings would push people forward and towards wanting to visit and recommend the destinations. So, six small hypotheses, all pointing in the same direction, get the sound right and the feelings and the intentions to follow. Then there were the four versions of the video. Here is the heart of experiment. Everyone in the study watched the exact same 30-second winter video of Finnish Lakeland. The pictures never changed. The video was consistent between all the audios. The only thing that changed was the audio, and there were four versions. The first was matching the winter soundscape, natural sounds that belong to the scene like wind, ice, and footsteps in the snow. The second was plain background music, soft instrumental music with no lyrics, the kind that gets added just to fill the silence. And the third was a trending social media audio, the kind of popular clip you hear all over the TikTok and the Instagram. And the fourth was deliberately mismatched audio, which had urban sounds like traffic and chatter and car horns laid over the winter landscape video. So, by keeping the visuals identical and only changing the sound, anything different in the people's reaction had to come from the audio. What we measured. After watching, people answered a few simple questions, all on 1 to 5 scale. We asked whether the sound matched what was on the screen, whether the video felt pleasant, fun, relaxing, whether they felt like they were actually there, whether they want to visit, and whether they want to recommend the place to others. We also checked how familiar they are already with the region, just to keep the comparison fair. And who took part? The final study had 119 people from all around the world. The group was evenly split between men and women with an average age of 34. Importantly, most of them, over 80%, had never been to Finnish Lakeland region before. So these were genuine first impressions, which is exactly what you care about when you're trying to reach new audiences. Then comes, did the audio actually change anything? In a nutshell, yes. The four versions really were experienced differently. So the manipulation of audio worked on emotion and on the sense of being there. The differences were clear, and one pattern stood out. The plain background music scored the lowest every single time. One thing that might look odd at first, but wanting to visit and wanting to recommend didn't differ dramatically between the groups on their own, but that's exactly what the model predicts. The audio doesn't change intentions directly, it works through emotions and presence first. What predicts what? The slide puts the result in plain language. Better audio fit led to more emotional engagement, and that was a strong effect. It also led to a stronger sense of presence. From there, both emotion and presence push people toward wanting to visit and toward recommending the destination. 5 of the 6 links were tested held up. I'll be honest about one thing. The statistical model didn't fit as cleanly as I would have liked. And the sample was on a smaller scale, like the 119 people were not exactly enough for the experiment. So I treated these as clear directions rather than exact final numbers. But the direction is consistent and it makes sense. The most important finding, if you take one thing from this video, take this. The sense of being there is the bridge. When the audio fits the visuals, viewers feel like they're actually in the place. And that feeling of presence is what most strongly turns a good video into a real intention to visit and to recommend. Emotion matters too, but in this study, the effect ran mainly through the sense of presence. In other words, the way a video sound doesn't change how people feel, it changes where feel they are. What this adds to the research. Briefly, for the academic side, this research extends that well-known model by treating audio as a trigger, not just a decoration. It shows that you can create a real sense of being somewhere through a simple 30-second flat video without any virtual reality headset. And it's the first study to trace full path from audio fit all the way to both visit and recommendation intentions in the short form video. Now comes the most important part, what this means for your work. Now, the practical part, which is really for you. First, congruent soundscapes are your best tool for atmospheric destinations. Matching the sound to the scene helps viewer place themselves in it. In the study that matched winter soundscapes scored highest on both fit and emotion. Second, trending audio still has a role, but a different one. It works through familiarity and what's popular on the platform, not through a sense of place. So, it's great for reach and attention, but if your goal is to make someone feel the destination, a matching soundscape does that better. A simple way to think about it: trending audio to get seen, soundscape to build desire. Third, this is a big one. Plain background music is not safe. Neutral choice. It was the weakest performance across the whole study. It quietly lowers immersion and emotion. So that default royalty-free track on your research for because it's easy, the data suggests it may be costing you. And fourth, emotionally engaging content is what gets recommended. The link from emotion to recommendation was stronger than the link to visiting. So content that feels good to watch is also your best driver for organic word of mouth. I have to be honest about the limitations. I want to be straight about what this study can't claim. The statistical model fit was weak. The sample was smaller than ideal. The emotional scale was a little rough. And it was one destination, one video, one season. So these are early direction settings of findings, not the final word. But where this could go next? There's a clear path forward. Repeat it with a bigger and more varied group of people. Test it across the other destinations, not just nature ones. Use a better measurement for emotion. Try other kinds of audio like voiceover or original music. And eventually link these intentions to real behavior like actual likes and shares and visits. The key takeaway. So to bring it all together, the way a short destination video sound shapes the viewers feel they are not just how they feel. And the sense of presence, more than emotion alone, is what turns a good audiovisual match into a real intention and visit and recommendation. 5 of 6 predictions held up. Presence was the key bridge, and while these are early findings that need more testing, the practical message is simple and useful. Treat your audio as real creative decision, match it to the visuals, and stop defaulting to background music. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about the research, I'll be glad to hear from you.